This video is to help spread awareness. I make no money from any of my YouTube videos, and I'll link the clip that I'm using down in the comment section. Dan Olsen, aka Folding Ideals, is well known for talking trash about the nostalgia critic and the angry video game nerd. He's also known for making pretentious video essays. Bell and the meaning of place. Oh my god, bro, why would I watch this video? I would much rather just watch the movie Bell and come to my own conclusion. But what I didn't know from Dan Olsen is that the guy is a bit of a creep. And I'll play this clip here from the YouTuber Nettles.
New. They flat out state that at least 2 other victims came forward regarding Juwario, so they must have known. For example, remember Lindsay Ellis's boyfriend, Dan Olsen? Yeah, the guy who she endorsed on his site and then ended up getting kicked off due to an incident with child porn on 8chan? Well, after the bombshell was dropped, he took to the Something Awful forums to give a statement. Okay, so overwhelmingly the participants in the not-so-awesome document found out the reality of all this about 2 weeks ago, so this is only slightly less fresh to them as it is to everyone else today. It was decided that it was not their story to tell, especially since the known victims at this point just wanted to go away. The people who knew for longer had been specifically asked by the victims to say nothing. They don't want to go through the intensity of that particular scrutiny, especially since it would spill over to much of the community, and especially Justin's widow, creating a lot of trauma. And for what? After all, Justin functionally settled the issue himself, and there's complicated issues specifically when it comes to managing the risk factor that is the Gamergate crowd. Yeah, so this guy knew about a sex pest and stayed quiet, not at the request of the victim, but so that a political movement that he personally disagreed with wouldn't get any traction. Are you serious?
Doug wants to be a filmmaker. He wants to make art, but he can't because he's a fundamentally incurious person who isn't much interested in what other people think or feel, and all his ideas boil down to, what if Batman met Mario?
Well, you, sir, are a fundamentally immoral person. Like, how can you condemn Channel Awesome for knowing about a sex pest, and yet you shielded that same predator's identity yourself, not to protect the victim, but to win an internet pissing contest? Like, screw you, man. We knew this information would get out eventually. We knew. Who's we? And for how long did they know, Dan? I mean, again, you wouldn't have been sitting on this for years, would you? Just letting a guy assault multiple women and do nothing about it? Because you know that's literally the same thing that you're accusing Channel Awesome of doing? And you call them horrible, so by that logic, you're just as horrible as they are, right?
You are either lying or you're stupid! I'm stupid! I'm stupid!
With Holly and Dan Olsen revealed to have known about Justin, this became a question of who else knew and for how long. Glad you asked. Exhibit A, Jesu Otaku. Remember Jacob
You know, if I knew about a predator, I would just call the police on them. It wouldn't really matter what their political ideology is, whether they align with mine or not. That clip is from the YouTuber Nettles, who only has about 2,000 subscribers. He deserves more subscribers than I do because I barely put any work into my content. The fact that I managed to obtain over 3,000 subscribers is miraculous, I guess. Anyway, Nettles did some very good research, like some deep diving type stuff, when he was researching the Channel Awesome drama. Now, if you don't know about Channel Awesome outside of the Nostalgia Critic, this was like a platform full of online left-leaning nerds who did media analyses. I actually have a degree in media literacy. I'm talking about Angry Joe, Linkara, all sorts of crazy people were involved with Channel Awesome back in the day. Many of them have they don't like the Nostalgia Critic because a lot of them are way less successful and are a bunch of crazy feminists. And since many of them want to avoid getting a regular 9-to-5 job, you know, they just want to do reviews as a source of living. Some of them have even resorted to e-begging so people can help them pay rent and buy groceries. In my opinion, if you're a grown adult who's single and doesn't have at least $10,000 on you, you know, you probably need to reevaluate your life. And as you see from that clip, one of the members from Channel Awesome was known as Juwario. He was one of those reviewers who talked about old games from Japan. Anyway, it turned out that Juwario was a groomer creep and he ended up taking his own life. And Dan knew about Juwario, and he did nothing. Nothing at all. So, take what you will with that information. But yeah, check out Nettles' Channel Awesome document videos because he gets all sorts of screenshots and lost video clips and all that kind of good stuff. It's like listening to a messed up train wreck. But anyway, I just wanted to bring that up about Dan Olsen, is that the guy is a, in my opinion, a deranged creep, and the fact that anybody actually trusts him, especially when it comes to having any sort of credibility whatsoever, is very sad to me, But I mean, then again, there are still people out there that defend Jeffrey Epstein.